Hi, I'm Dre.
Hi, I'm Dave.
I'm done.
And I'm Tammy Drone. And
Not just when it's
And I'm Tammy,
and welcome to the D3T podcast.
That's what's up.
Okay. Hi guys, this is actually Pauline, and I'm going to be moderating the conversation today, and we have our lovely guests, Dre, Dave, and Dan, who have agreed to come on and have a conversation about masculinity, because I think it would be a bit rude of us to come here and tell you guys about masculinity. So let's begin. What do you guys think masculinity means to you personally?
Okay, so I think personality in terms of especially the responsibility part for masculinity is super important. So I look at it twofold. It has to do with responsibility and generally personality. That's why it varies for most people. But masculinity has a lot to do with embracing leadership as a man. That's just generally what I think.
For me, first of all, this is Dave. So for me, I'd look at it as two ways. So for one, responsibility. The second thing, as leadership for myself. Personally, like I'd need to know what I'm supposed to do and what I should not do. Yeah, and responsibility just because as a man, there's things we have to do and we can't really run away from them. Yeah.
Yes, Dan.
It happens all the time.
Take your time. I'll just cue you in again. Yes, Dan.
I think masculinity means, to me personally, is your responsibilities that you have, you meet them, and discipline. So, like of course, you have to work with a set of doctrines that you don't surpass, them. So, things that are not within your doctrine. Yeah.
What would you say is the most masculine and the least masculine thing you've ever done, or the most non-masculine thing you've ever done? Sorry. Yes, Dre. Yes, Dre.
So I think let me start with the most masculine thing. It's for gangster boys. The most masculine thing I've done. I've actually thought through about it, and I've thought of a really nice example. So there's this time my mom was really, really unwell, and it was just a really bad time. But I really needed to pull up at home because I was in school thinking of having some discussion with my friends late into the night, so maybe I sleep over and whatever. So I just stopped everything, decided I really, really don't need to give a very comprehensive answer. Went home, chilled with my mom, and just was there for her in general. Yeah, that's the most masculine thing I think I have ever done. The most non-masculine thing I have ever done. You are not going to like me for this, but so there's this one time I was really stoked about this date that I had, and I bought fresh worth the packet. Like when you go to the supermarket, you don't get fresh individually. Fresh is like the low grade PK. So I bought five, but we love fresh. So I bought five. I bought five fresh packets, and that means those days were they 7 or 4? I think four pellets. So and I just saved up 200 bob for the ice cream date. That's just all I had. So I had fare. Fare was going to be 100 to GCM and back Garden City. So now each and every 15 seconds I used to I get one pellet and I put it in my mouth and I begin to chew. So probably when I was dropping off at GCM, I had 10 pellets in my mouth. Type of stuff. So now, going to the counter, I've prepped. I'm like, wow, this is class 8, guys. You gotta forgive me. So I only had the money in coins, so I didn't have like, so nilikuwa nakaa kama makanga. So so yeah, I was like, so I've just done my coins, so I'm so careful they don't drop. And the short is just like, so what will you have? So I was like, okay, I'm also supposed to be paying, but it is what it is. It's okay. So she ordered and she bought everything. I have never been bought for that amount of ice cream, even with my mother. So I was like, okay. So yeah, but the worst part was, you take ice cream. Okay, I had the gum and I was like, so sure, when can I just? Because we are like in like a mall, so you can't just do that. So I just like work at it at the side. So now when I'm downing my ice cream, the gum became like powder soggy. Like when gum becomes powder soggy. I'm like, bruh, it's due time. This surely needs to be dropped at her place. Definitely it's working. She was so far. So I decided to, hey bro, hii gum imeanza kunilemea, and I think I have like the serviette from Creamy Inn, so I can just like put it and place it in my pocket. So I was like, wow, and this place really looks nice. Then see, obviously I've gotten my split second because she's looking around. So I do this, then I go here. Lo and behold, imekwama hapa on my shoulder. Ikanichorea Miss Kenya. Oh yeah, then the wind. Shoop. So my new sweatshirt was kind of messed up with that. So that's the most non-masculine thing I have ever done in my life. I'm not trying to top that.
Wow.
Yes, David.
It's so hard to follow afterwards.
I know.
What's that supposed to be? What's that supposed?
Wepeana narrative nzima.
So most masculine thing, I think for me it's just one thing I extremely love is sports. So like one thing I said I'm going to like achieve is get to like the pinnacle of sports. Like in every single sport I play, to like feel or rather be the best. I know for every guy, like they sit down and be like, yeah, I'd want to be the best in this. Where like you walk in anywhere and you're like, yeah, I'd beat you. It's so dumb, like if you think about it, but it actually gives some sense of satisfaction, which is nice. So that's the most masculine thing I did. Like most of my high school, I just spent my time like grinding on sports, even like since primary or something, grinding on sports till I beat my bro and everything.
Now that's
Yeah.
That's
They're brothers, by the way.
There's proof of all of this. So, and then non-masculine thing, I think it's nail polish, like on my nails, and mascara. But both of them, my sister did them on me. It wasn't by choice. Yeah, but that was a bit. But even like recently, I wanted to like paint my left hand black because I play guitar. I think it look cool, but I understood I'm not a white guy, so I said, yeah. New quality.
Yes.
The most masculine thing I've done is a friend of my mom's. Yeah, she had like she has a son, so like the son was going through this initiation process and everything. So like she wanted me to like get him through this process, like just be there for him. So yeah, at that moment I felt like, okay,
I am
we can do this, But yeah, so the most non-masculine thing I've ever done is I like cooking, but like I'm not saying it's like a feminine thing, no. But like guys, like even my classmates, at times they'll cook excess food, and then where I live, like I have a few neighbor classmates, yeah, and then I'll call them and be like, kuna chapo kiasi, there's some food here, and then they come and they'll be like, ulikuwa na msichana huko amekupikia. I'm like, dude, I can cook, bro. But it's hard to believe, but like That's the closest thing I can imagine. But like, it's what the society has said. But like me myself, I don't believe that that's a feminine. I believe that's survival. You have to. Yeah.
Man. Do you guys feel like your masculinity matures over time and is affected by your environment? Yes, Dre.
So yeah, I was just like had some time to think about the maturity bit, and I really, really do believe that time should be the constant factor that should be related with growth in something. But now in intrinsic qualities like masculinity, femininity, even just basic fortitude values, you really need to work on it. But generally, through time and through it's not 100% bad society. Your masculinity definitely requires to be kind of matured. So yeah, the second part of your question, sorry, you just pardon me.
Your environment. Do you feel like your environment affects your masculinity?
Yes, so I think I just quoted a story on there's this single parent, he's actually a father who had two sons. So he was a really, really over the top alcoholic. So what happened is he went through a really, really hard time generally because of the death of the wife. So he used to come home. It's a sad story, end up beating the two sons, and basically the sons having to endure this past of the dad kind of working his life out through them, especially in alcohol. So what happened is the two gentlemen, now the kids, they had their time being children. Then once they reached the age of moving out, they moved out and had their own families. Now a study was done on each of the sons. So one son was definitely so different from the dad. He decided he's putting booze and alcoholic drinks away, and he's just starting his life devoid of alcohol. And the other guy decided, this is all I've known, and this is how I generally have seen my innate role model dealing with issues. So that's all I know, and that's generally what I will end up being, a chief of the old block. So the question now was, how does your environment actually determine the kind of person you'll be? And that's where I realized perspective is important. So definitely perspective is important, but we can't decide to eradicate the whole point of choice. And I feel like, especially for men, that has been removed from the equation. So yeah, guys definitely have a choice from the environment, although it also influences you.
Yes, Dave.
So for me, I actually believe that your masculinity can mature. I normally have this slogan that change is a constant. So like change is always there. But change could be good or bad. So you could definitely grow and have like a better stature as a man. Or you could grow up and have less stature as a man. And then for the environment bit, it's really important. But also how you look at the environment is most important. There's situations like men have to go through, some when they're young, some have to go through like in the mid-crisis, like midlife crisis, some when they're old. So I feel like depending on the type of personality that man has, they'd grow differently and at different rates. But the end goal is still the same. The end goal is still the same. Being able to like live through your responsibilities and live them out well as a Christian for me. Yeah.
Dan.
I believe that masculinity should mature because you can't, as a young boy, you can't behave the same way when you have like a set of responsibilities as an adult. Yeah. So, as a young boy, you have the small games like let me go. Say you have a bicycle or something like personally, like when I was young, I had a bicycle. Yeah, to like take care of it, to like service it. So like if it's changing oil, you oil the chain, you ensure that like there are no punctures in the tire. So like when you're older, I can just be like, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be changing oil of my bicycle. No, it has to change. You can't. No, it doesn't. Yeah, no. It doesn't just happen, because now you have a set of responsibilities. You have say you have tax to pay, you have your own wants that you want to meet, you have so many responsibilities, not only as an adult but also as a man, because say you have people looking up at you, you know. So like you have siblings, like personally I have siblings, yeah. I can just start behaving like my younger brother at Shanga. What are you doing? You know. So like I have to really mature and be like, you know what, it's up to me to now start making the big moves. So second question was,
Your environment. Do you feel like your environment affects your masculinity?
yeah, I think it does, because say you had a poor figure of masculinity, so like you have actually like Drea said, yeah, you have the personality and mindset to choose between right and wrong that is God given, yeah. So when you think through it well and like you have a good intention, you can choose the right thing. And now it's even much easier because you have media. Be like, this is the right thing, so it's just follow the data.
Do you guys feel like your masculinity is innate, so you are born with it and you know, or do you feel like it was nurtured by society, or it's as a result of the society you've grown up in?
Okay. So yeah, definitely, like according to me, there's one way. Okay, this is very very boring, but yeah, I don't know why biology was this. Anyway, kama unafanya med ama unafanya anything related to med, the Lord be with you and your spirit. I'm reading from the book of anyway. So now, I think generally bio teachers used to tell us it's only at the smallest level, the species level, where regeneration can occur. So you have to have this specific YX chromosome, this is YX chromosomes. Now, there is something now in that specific species that makes it that species. Not even compared to whatever this species does or whatever this species does not do, because that's very important. So me thinking through it, a bear in the North Pole and a bear generally in anywhere in any woodland forest, they can be distinguished by the basic fact of what their body requires to pull them through that position. That's why I think masculinity to some degree is probably the skin. Definitely it's not the clothes we wear, but it's something that's underneath the clothes you wear. So according to me, masculinity definitely is to some degree innate in the fact that it is your representation, which I think is something that's really, really blurred out with time. So that's what I think it is. I think like it's very, very innate. The second part is
No, do you
it's
think
just
it's
that.
innate or
Yeah,
nurtured by
I
society?
think definitely it's innate. The problem is society is very very volatile in that leo utasikia mrife don't run, kesho usikie kama hii imeenda, you know, like it's very it's too volatile. It's like really really volatile. That's why I think being a Christian, for me especially, and even having my bro and everyone around me, definitely puts like a constant. It like puts a constant where I can go back into. So yeah, I think that's what I think. Yeah.
David.
Kwanza, just to say, Andrew ametuchanganya with all that biology, X, Y, chromosome.
I will say we're biology. We're learning biology.
But it's okay. Hatari. But I believe it's nature and nurture. Because I was listening to some other old podcast. I'm going to talk about femininity for a bit just because the other podcast was on feminine and love. And they were saying, you know how every day, like, not every day, like these days, a lot of women would want a taller guy than them. And significantly taller. And they were saying...
That is a high five from me to Dan. Yes, sir.
And first of all, you're unfair. And the reason for this was, it's an innate psychology. Like, women have grown, like, understanding. Because in the olden days, if you had a tall man, you're less susceptible to rape. Because no one is going to try and, like, come and steal your man if I'm looking at you like this.
Johnny Bravo type.
You get. If if you even walk up to a tall guy nowadays, you still feel a bit of intimidation. You're just wondering, like, and you feel some type of security. That's what, like, weirdly enough, it's generation psychology. Like, it goes with people. You don't know this, but it actually moves with you. Like how your mom was thinking. Some of those things are actually like passed down from generation to generation. So like that's why right now I would say it's nature plus nurture, because the psychology has been passed down to like all of us. But like, how are we going to look at it and be like, okay, do I really need this right now? How am I going to make this better for myself? You get? So like all the masculine facts, like now, like 2 generations back, my grandfather was probably a guy with a spear and 6 wives, stuff like that. And now, me right now, how will a spear help me? Like, you get, like, I can't be walking around with a spear and expect to get a job or something like that. You get, like, it just doesn't make sense. So like, it's the nature we've developed plus how we're going to nurture it and like grow and move on, because we really need to, because times have changed, things are not the same, so we have to change as well.
Dan.
I believe that we can be born in a certain way, and environment, like the way now your society, your parents, your friends, like basically your environment as a person can really like change the way you view yourself as a man. So like a good example is like personally as a boy, I was spoiled. I was spoiled. So like I used to be given some drinkers, some trains, but then
sisi obviously matrika za barabara za mbao ekele ai brava wewe dad kama unasikiliza
ndo mimi hapa. So like I used to like really take care of them, but also I was a bit lost then. So like I used to give out, but like that is none like control, like contention with what you're doing. But like with that, I should like take care of this. You know, I should, even as the firstborn, and the firstborn like in my family. So like in me, I'm already implanted a set of rules, not only as a man, but like as a firstborn. Mimi ni guinea pig. Like you should. For real, because you see, your parents have never raised a child, you know. So like they're trying to set a bar for the rest of your children, of their children. So like this is strict upbringing. Not only as a man, but like also as a firstborn, you should meet some like set of rules. That's why I also like mentioned discipline. So it was something that was like instilled in me. So I believe like it can be nurtured in that you have to like if I wasn't like implanted this set of rules, probably would have been some other guy who nje tunaenda kupeana tulifikiri magari zake huko nje kama tuweka zake. So you see, such thing.
So now that we've talked about nature, nurture, environment, and masculinity, how do you guys think a person's masculinity is affected when they are born and raised in a single mother home and surrounded by like sisters and not really having a male role model in their life? Dre, sorry.
So according to me, I'm so sorry, but I think this is very important for me to get into. Timothy is one of the most outstanding, let's say, representation of a youth in the Bible. When you look at his history, no direct explanation or no direct link with a man is noted. I don't know if you guys understand. Eunice, or you just hear the grandmother or the mother or something like that. And I was wondering, okay, how come? Does it mean that the dad kuna vile alisaweki or what's going on? And I realized contextually there is where you're born in and you're bred in, and that's very important because it's the inception point. Like grass that's grown probably on your lawn will only have the benefits of the soil in your lawn, but comparative to human beings, wherever you start, since you're not like a static being, like as long as I'm here, I won't just always be here. I can move. It translates to your opinions and your thoughts and finally your decisions. So I feel like, yes, true, this is where you started at. It will have an impact on broadening your understanding of this other side of the coin, this is the other side of whatever. But it shouldn't stop you. That's what I think. Definitely, it's a problem, but at the same case, it looks like kind of a market scheme, if you ask me, because I know the worst things to come. My bro normally says this really interesting thing. The best thing about rock bottom is there's nothing below it. The only way you go is to go up. So yeah,
Kind of a straight
quote
hole,
by
okay.
yeah. So yeah, that's what I think. But I'm not overlooking the fact that it's really hard. Yes.
Wow. My quote just right
Bro,
there.
what is that supposed to?
Wow. Okay. I actually think it does matter. It does matter who you grow up with or who you like end up having as your parent. It really does matter. But the thing is, there's always an entry point or an exit point. Like there's always a path you can decide to take this way or the other way. The thing is, choice is always there for you. It's always there for you. So like regardless of how bad your father was or how non-existent he was, and you just there with your mom, I'm sure your mom would try everything to the best that she can. But even in that situation, I'm sure your mom wouldn't be happy to have a man grow up and not have like any strong masculinity in him. Like I'm sure she'd be very disappointed. Like she did everything she could get. But it's also important that in the event that you're lacking a male figure, to search and find one. Because just as Andrew said, like for Timothy, Paul was there. Literally a whole book in the Bible to just one man. It's two actually in the first 10. Yeah, and that's, imagine like devoted to just helping him. But the problem is right now you actually need to find the right guy, because sometimes you just have these older men who are just like archaic in their ways. They're like, you only have to follow njia. Ukikosa njia utakosa job, nyoa nywele yote, and Dave, what is it, man? Just shave it. You see, like, so yeah, so I think it does matter, but is there a breaking point? Is there an exit point? Yes, there is. Depending on your personality and how like strong in yourself you are, then you can definitely grow from that point. Like there's always room for improvement. As I just said, like we can hit rock bottom, but there's nothing below that. There's nothing below that. Like it's always just climb up. Even just standing up makes a difference, because the difference makes a difference.
Some height.
Okay. So you feel like it's a choice. At the end of the day, how masculine you turn out remains a choice.
Yeah, I feel there's things you take from them, of course. Those ones you can't really choose what you get from them because it's them giving, and you are the one who are giving them. I don't know if you get them, put a lot of them there. But the choice to how you'll end up being, that's on you. That's definitely on you.
Can I just add on something that he said? There's this story of, now I'm not using like actual representation, like this story of chicken and the egg of an eagle. Yeah. Now I'm not saying. All I'm trying to say is there are two different genders over here. Yeah. You said a single mother. Yeah. So like, in you, you're going to feel at some point of like maturity. Yeah, you're going to feel that I don't fit with him, or like that's something that is going to bug you and be like, I don't think I should be here, but like not that like you shouldn't relate to those people with like your mother and your sisters and everything, but like you'll get, at least that is what I think. I'm not saying like there's somebody like a single mother who so like I feel like you're going to be bugged to a point that you look for somebody like a mentor to help you through, and now it's really easy on social media. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I have like just a small analogy. So there's one person who was saying, um, it's like a really, really arbitrary one. So a guy is lost in the woods. So he's lost in the woods, and definitely, if you're lost, you're looking for a way out. So this person, he kind of has an idea of where the brush and definitely the woodland looks a bit thin, but he ends up walking the opposite direction towards where it's thicker. Like he's definitely going further and further into the forest. It's not like he's helping him. Definitely, he's making progress. He's moving, and yeah, it can be very, very comparative to how sometimes I might deal with an issue. Maybe when it's innate. Let's say, for example, I'm to drive my car outside and it's rained the previous night, and maybe birds have done their stuff and my windshield is blocked. Obviously, I can't move with the car, but I need to like wash off my windscreen before I even move. So the two things that are not related are actually related, like the birds messing up with my windscreen and me going to work. Someone would say they're not related. So in a way, I feel like as a guy who's in that situation, you really need to be at the point of understanding, okay, this is what I'm going through. Okay, let me seek out for Dan or for Dave, and yeah, let's talk about this. Then let me start moving. It's not like an end of, wow, okay, so this is my disadvantage, and life has to be definitely programmed under this light of disadvantage. So yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. You're not boxed in.
For sure.
Before he just continues, like just one thing he said that I think we haven't really like put enough emphasis on is in his story, the guy actually found out that he was lost. A lot of us don't really know that we are lost, like in that, especially in that masculinity space. We don't know that wherever we're at is not the right place to be. It's really important to know that, okay, I'm lost in this thing, and you just have to accept. From that point is when now you can keep going. I just thought I'd say that.
So you need to accept first that you're disadvantaged and you're lost and you need help.
Hey, but anyway, accepting is hard, man.
It is.
Do you guys, okay, let's shift the conversation a bit. Let's talk about toxic masculinity. Because I feel like it's a phrase that's used in a lot of circles. Not even when people are talking about masculinity in general. Like even when people are just talking about femininity and women empowerment. Like everyone is like, yeah, that's so toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity, yada, yada, yada. So how do you guys define toxic masculinity?
I don't know, Dave, do you think you have anything toxic masculinity? It's a bit toxic in there. A bit toxic in it. But anyways, what do you think?
For me, I don't know. I feel like it's extremely unfair for the women to be determining what's toxic or not toxic, especially in men. It's a hard thing to say, but it's extremely true, because what would you know of men that they don't know of themselves? You get most of the time
when you're
most of the time, like in a bad most of the time when guys do most of these things, I kid you not, like 80 to 90% of the time they know they're doing the wrong thing. I feel like what many people have seen as toxic masculinity is us like treating women in the way they shouldn't be treated.
Yeah.
There's that, and then there's just the point where guys self-sabotage themselves. So there's those two aspects where like a guy would end up just keeping to himself instead of expressing everything to like his boys and everything. Like he can't even, like there's no bromance. Yeah, and bromance is beautiful.
That's a bit sus, bro. What?
What? Bromance is beautiful.
Like handsome or like nice. Beautiful, bro.
I mean, it's good.
That's toxic.
That's not
It's good to point it out, but it would be better for if shorties would point out when guys actually have good masculinity. Because when do you ever hear a guy say, "Well, I like your personality as a guy"? Rarely would you hear that thing. Like we're just waiting for the point that this guy would say, "Hey, kwani si ni wanawake? You guys are toxic." You know, we're just chilling for that moment to just jump onto it.
That's true.
You know, like we don't see like all the I feel like just look at the man as a whole. Give them a chance. Hadi wao wale wako toxic.
I saw a quote that was like, I think it was a tweet even, it wasn't a quote. It was basically, they were saying how it becomes a problem when in a society, women are defining masculinity. So it becomes a problem when women are the ones who are dictating what is masculinity and what isn't masculinity. In the same way, it would be so problematic if men were to stand up and be like, yeah, this is femininity. This is what is femininity.
So
if you're not this, like, you know. So, yeah, just wanted to add that. Done?
Let me don't like on what you've said. I feel like they're going to say like feminine females trying to say what masculinity is. They're going to say what they want. So like that you don't have, because you see now we're all created in like different ways. Yeah, you know, we all like rooted in our own selves. We just like clearly said it. Women are really like outgoing. They speak their minds. You know, like they said like the femininity is really like preached, for lack of a better word, like preached than masculinity. So yeah.
Before we go on, I feel like a lot of the problem with girls imposing masculinity on guys and the opposite is because we really search for equity so much so that we don't search for diversity. You get, because we're all so different. If we were to search for diversity in everyone, because everyone is so unique, if we were to ever just like keep doing that, we would all grow like almost at the same pace and everything, and everyone would be winning. Because I'm not imposing on you like you do this, yet I don't really like, let me say, look like you. But yeah.
And I feel like we have a lot to live for as human beings in general. We have a lot to live for. Instead of like fighting, let's try to work together to solve world hunger.
I think Pauline was saying this yesterday. Like white people don't have problems. Now they're trying to look for problems. And they don't exist. Okay, it exists. But like look at us. You know, we're fighting world
First of
hunger.
all, we have like 7 trillion
In debt.
property femininity.
The bigger problems to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah, according to me, let me just like comment on the toxic part. I feel like toxicity comes up at the point when it's done in excess. So let me just give you like a really quick example. So fortitude is like the mean virtue. In excess, it could be something related to anger, or on this other side, it could be related to cowardice or something. And I feel like toxicity falls onto one of the other sides. So when people are so rushed in their thinking and so angered with everything, it becomes toxic. For example, guys just going around, maybe even without having any idea of whatever a specific female individual has done, and aanze tu kusema bedhe madem ni manyoks. That's very, very, very toxic. You know, it's very, very toxic. I don't know why they were just
Here, that's what you want to tell us.
But I feel like that's very, very imposing, because I can't just meet, for example, Tamiron and be like, "Ay, we're Tamiron by the madem ni manyoks." You know, that's actually so imposing that it is very toxic, because it's not reaching the objective of understanding Tamiron from where she comes from. It's like bracketing everyone under someone. And you know, the problem with that is when you have diversity in so many ranges, you'll definitely end up narrowing down when you're looking for an equity drive. So I think toxicity has a lot to do with just looking at what's on the top. I feel like we really need to look at what's on the bottom here and inside. Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. Okay. So how do you guys feel like you deal with toxic masculinity in your own lives, like amongst your friends and your friends specifically?
Yeah. I really wanted to know how Dan deals with it.
Oh, so I have a friends group, yeah. Like we're just a number of guys, yeah.
Yeah.
So and I really like the energy of we're really rooted. So if I see anything wrong in friend X, I'll call him individually and be like, bro, I don't like the way you did this, or put your agenda or your whatever you want straight in that you won't have to like waver into these two mistakes, because toxicity is just mistakes that you do repeatedly or like even did one. So yeah, so I think I'll just tell them in like outrightly, just tell them don't do this, or if they don't listen, it's up to us to like now. No, it's up to you as a person to be like, what do you actually want out of this life as a man? You know, do you want to put more joy and love out there, or do you just want to, make everyone happy, like unhappy? Yeah. And if it was me, I would personally, like right now, I really soul search every day. I remember even like a time in 2020, I was going like through a really tough time. We did David and like I know this, yeah. So like I was in a really dark place because I wasn't sure exactly what I perceived a man being, because by then I was like, a man is my dad.
And my dad is a man.
Yeah, my dad is a man. That was the point back then. But like now, like I've defined a man as like for myself. That's why like I find it vague to like say a man is this. Because you see now, if like I said a man was this, or if like I followed a man is this, or just be a photocopy of something, like a great original. So yeah, so I really like soul searched, even like used to journal back then, but like yeah, it's up to you to like soul search yourself in case like always like repeatedly, because you see you can easily slip the mistake and it grows into a habit. Yeah.
For me first, I'd like to like tell a small story. I'm not really sure how it goes, but there's a story of this man who started by saying, when I grow up, I want to change my family. He grew up a bit more. He was like, when I grow up, I want to change my area, like my community where I live in. Grew up a bit more, didn't do that. He was like, okay, now I'm definitely going to change my county. Kakua DMCA. Then now he was like, hey, but I need to change my country. So he got to the pinnacle of, let's say, like success for some people, especially political leaders. And on his deathbed, there's one thing he said, I wish I changed myself. So from the point of toxic masculinity, like within our own circles as men, change always starts with you. Because if I lead by example, everything outside me will kind of get attracted to be like, hey, anyway, why am I not like Dave? Like that guy's doing well, he's trying. I should just talk to him and kind of like understand like what he's doing. You get, sometimes you just lead by example, not imposing anything on anyone.
Yeah.
And like weirdly enough, people just end up following like your route. And also like if a friend can't deal with you, he just slip away from that, because it feel like this guy's too good for me,
Hey,
no,
Yeah, so I think one thing I'd say is lead by example. Lead by example. Yeah.
I think in making steps towards detoxification of masculinity, that's such an interesting one. Yeah. But I look at it twofold in that I'm not only myself, but I'm myself in a specific box. And the amount of air I have in this place is solely connected to the amount of space in this box. So I've always understood that I have to look at life in the point of seeing my consciousness aligned correctly to my heart, my perspective directed solely towards God, and finally my purpose generally directed to the direction of how I'm going to benefit now the people close to me. Bado sijafika MCA, but ninajaribu. Posters zinakuja hapa, tuongee maneno kando. But I realized so many people do this, and I have so many friends who've done this. Had a toxic encounter, for example, amepatana na msichana akamwambia, we by the way, wewe unakaa hivi na hivi, and I don't even need someone especially in some very weird relationship setup. And he's actually shown toxic qualities. Like, why would you just look at someone like that? Now, how this guy countered that situation was by doing what so many guys do, which is so unfortunate, going for girl number 2. Now, in that case, they're only changing the box. You're not trying to change the person inside. So he's like, what? This relationship didn't work. I'm jumping. I'm going to the next type of person. Because this next type of person, I call 2 months. What? I need to make up for long. Let me end this. Let me go to this other person. The problem is you're creating a chain of trial and error. And that's where toxic masculinity really places itself upon. Now, in terms of changing your person, I love what Dan has talked about. I have done it, especially the period when I was struggling with a bit of anxiety. Journaling is such a good way of airing out whatever you're going through, especially for men who can't talk to each other. I might go to Dave nimwambie, hey, by the way, mi na feel my heart imeanza at your heart. Uko na moyo tu, toka hapa enda utafute heart pali pengine. Journaling definitely does help me project my words onto a place that does not judge me. Oh, that's a really big part when you're talking about this masculine thing, the judgment mini bit. So when I write down, I'm like, okay, so this is who I am, and this is maybe the step I need to take because I've hurt this person, I've hurt that person, and I'm hurting myself at this point. So yeah, and now for Christians, now we look into the word and we're like, hey, like you pray and whatever, and you actually find the next step of going. So yeah, don't just look at yourself or the box, look at both of them together. Yes, sir.
Can I just add on something that you said, yeah? When you have, like, now you have this one toxic person here, yeah, they're going to, like, move from relationship to you're creating a series of bitter people.
Ooh, and toxic stories, boy.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there. You're not ready.
You're having, like, a whole field of just bad bananas, you know?
Hey, I don't like bananas. Mangoes, eggs, all applicable, guys.
Tomatoes.
Sijafikiria, consider our listeners, unajua?
So like you're just having a series of bad people, yeah? And from toxic masculinity, you get toxic femininity because they're like in a relationship. Yeah. And even vice versa.
Mm-hmm. So actually, Dre touched on something that I would love for us to talk about. The whole judgment and fear of being vulnerable as a guy. Why do you think that is? Do you feel like it's an inherent trait of masculinity, or do you think it's because society kind of looks at men and is like, we unalia?
But like I feel like to some extent I might understand why, because you see, like now you may have somebody who's been traumatized by somebody, like now the bad bananas, and then you go tell them these things that you're struggling with, and like might trigger something in their head to like now judge you into when you to buy a shit and they like judge you, and then you feel, you know, they might not show you, but you like felt it, and then from there you feel like it's not working, you know. Which makes journaling like the best answer for this, because it's not judging you whatsoever. You're going to pour out your heart, and not unless somebody finds that book, you should die. Kased is that person. But like no, Jesus. So that is all out.
For me, do I think there's space for men to be vulnerable in the world we live in now? I think the space is really limited, extremely limited. But is that really a cause of like us being scared as men? I don't think so, because the problem is most of the time we try and look for, or rather try to be vulnerable to all the wrong people. Like, it's weird how a guy would have met a shorty and he'd end up being more vulnerable with that shorty and the guy he's known for longer. Just that shorty would run away if you just exhibit a bit of vulnerability, like almost 100%. I'm just going to put that out there. Almost 100%. Like, no sure he wants a guy who's crying 24/7. And that's true. We can sit here and say it's not true, but it's very true. So, like, also who you're trying to be vulnerable with really matters. Because there's some boys, like, there's always the jokes, like, and come and tell me, ati you're gonna scare me. Unasikia vibaya aje?
Mimi sitaki hizo jokes. But nataka kutekiwa.
But it gets to a point where we actually like sit down and be like, yeah, well, this thing is not really working out. Like, you'd get to a point of speaking, even though we have banter like that. And that's so true. And that's what, like, guys aren't able to move past. Like, banter has to be there. You come to me crying, I'd laugh at you, but of course I'm going to help you afterwards. Like, that's just part of the banter. I won't speak about you crying anymore. It'll always be like that one thing I'll be carrying around, like, as blackmail. Yeah, but but it's extremely, like, who you're going to be vulnerable with. Like, that matters a lot. So I think, yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay, go and then I'll pose my question.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, I've really like wanted a space of asking ladies, how come the judgmental perspective doesn't influence you guys a lot? Because let's just give an arbitrary example. Maybe Pauline is going through something and she decides, okay, I'm going to talk to Tamara, and whatever she discloses doesn't really bug her, like, for 50,000 months to come. She's like, yeah, I told her, and like that was a space of my heart, and yeah. But for guys, by the way, in 1996, I told David that my heart is heavy. In 2030, he's like, Billboard, he told me my heart is heavy. I don't know how you ladies are able to deal with that, or it's like, I just don't care. Is it like that, or is it like you guys, it's mainly about you? Or like, do you guys just don't care, or like what happens? Yeah.
So I like that you gave me a Tamiron as an example, because we have this conversation like every week. I'm not even joking.
Oh, damn.
Every week. So basically, I think as girls or as young ladies. Anyway.
Kama wasichana.
Wasichana has cut on it.
Where it's sort of like an unspoken rule. What we share in that space stays.
It's like a girl code.
Yeah. Like everyone knows what you share in that vulnerable space stays there. If you carry it for like months and years to come, there's something wrong. Yeah, like it's generally, at least when you have good female friends. Because sometimes people don't have good female friends, and then it becomes, there's this interesting thing I've been studying called, basically it's how like women show aggression. So it's not really like like when guys are showing aggression, it's just twende nje, you bigger, twende sahi.
No, that's not how it happens, but
well, in my very limited view. But as like for women, the way aggression is shown, it's more, I will come after you and your reputation. So I will tell everyone all your dirty secrets. Like that is normal aggression for women, and like that's how aggression manifests amongst female circles. So obviously you can have bad friends that use all of these things against you. So I guess the difference now comes between guys. You carry it and it's sort of like a joke. You carry it into the future. And like, yes, he knows these things about you, and yes, you opened your heart to him, but it's always just going to be a point of laughter for both of you. We're like, you remember when, lol, funny. But like for women, we finish that conversation and we forget it happened.
And then also, I feel like when someone just starts speaking, you know what can be spoken outside of the conversation and what stays in the confines of the So usually anyone can say anything about anyone, and I know, okay, this I'll go tell my friends in Imshane. And then I also know this is too sensitive, like this goes nowhere beyond how I found out. So yeah,
I will die with this secret.
I will die. As much as I don't even know you, I don't care about you, I just know you're It's not mine to tell.
oh yeah, that phrase right there. It's not mine to tell. I feel like that's one of the best safes. You know, like the way a safe, you have like 4, 4, 5 minutes, then it opens. I don't know why, but so many ladies compared to guys have understood that. Like, bro, this is just not my case to tell. This is just not for me to spread and whatever. But a guy, hey, by the way, we'll check it. Pata nyundo hapa nyuma ya macho yako. Then unatokezea, bro, si ilikuanga tu just between. Iko in the open. Man. So I don't know, like, why do you guys generally feel like it's not mine to tell? You know, it's not even about, let me just protect this person. Nah, it's like, this is not my place to enter. You get what I'm saying? So I don't understand that, and I am still trying, although I'm a guy, to understand why men can't have that. Because most of the guys, it's really hard for them not to have like the, what can I say, like the confidentiality. I don't know. It's like really hard.
It's honestly discernment. It's like some sort of discernment. Like there are some things that are just said with a certain gravity, and you know, hey,
To the grave.
to the grave.
So do you guys think it's a culture point also? Like, we really need to culture ourselves.
But you see, it's funny to me because the general cultural norm is that like women have mushene. And women do have mushene.
Yeah, that's what I was
Women have mushene,
Yeah.
but even in that mushene, we know what is mushene and we know what is not mushene.
Yeah.
So I feel like for guys, because maybe it's because you weren't taught how to piga mushene. Maybe that's the problem because
Talk is talk.
so like that filtering, you don't know how to do it. But like for me personally, like I know how to filter. Maybe it's because like I was sitting around as my aunties were figuring mushene, and so even me I learned then how to filter. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
And then there's also something I guess one of you said about like, you know, as we talk. So like from the talking and from the listening, you know, from talking or from people talking, you learn to listen. So like from the listening, you know, okay, this I can talk about, this I can't.
So yeah, just finally, from like trying to understand the female side, I realized so many guys say that shorties have trust issues, but definitely from this small survey of ours, definitely guys have more trust issues. I think.
Ooh, introspection.
I don't know, man, but like it's just a bit hard. Yeah. But like the final thing is it for us to change our reception, or is it for us to change how we convey our message? Let me just put that on the ground. Is it for Dave to change how he receives information from me? Or is it for me to kind of package information to Dave? Because I feel like shorties don't have that part. Just come. Let's come. For me, I don't know if like I should go like, I have this, or should I be like, let's have this conversation, man. I don't know what part is to be changed. So yeah, that's I know it's a bit of a misnomer. We should be coming up with I don't know, but yeah, I don't know if Dan and Dave have anything to state. I feel like guys have like a lot of trust issues. Even like when you look at the judgment bit, that's probably exhaust. Yeah.
I think. Okay.
Sorry, just a comment on the trust
Yeah.
issues thing. As a psychologist, I'm not
County.
So, actually, girls have more trust issues than guys because girls don't know how to tell. I don't know, guys are better at being able to decipher lies than women. I don't know why. But yeah, it's actually, I learned it like last week. The psychological, like for the first time. I said for the first time I was reading for my exams. So yeah. So sometimes like maybe I think girls sometimes have more trust issues, but we're just more, because they can't detect deception easily. We just put up like a front of like, oh, we're so yes, we're I don't know, yeah. But now guys, because they're able to detect more ninis, guys are able to trust people better than women. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
I guess that's also where the like everyone knows that there's drama in female friend groups, but there's no like drama in male friend groups, or at least if there is, it's not.
You don't know.
It's not out there.
That's
Weird, yeah.
That's also why there's more drama in female friend groups, because women can't detect lies easily. Yeah.
Dave, do you have anything to
I wanted to say, I don't fully agree with Andrew on the fact that many guys take out your stories out there. Actually, don't. I feel like if you want to tell a
No,
guy
it's not that they don't. It's just that they do it involuntarily. It's not even targeted on bad mouthing you, but like I had like this really bad situation, guys. So my mom is a reverend, so you guys know how it is. What to do, a pastor? So we were kind of just brief introduction. By the introductions, nafaa tu kwa nikitembea na sweta iko na jina yangu. Anyway, so I started with my elder bro saying his name, where he's from, my sister nini. Then it was me because I'm a third one. Then I was like, my name is David. And like my bro's name is so David. No, that's my. So like this drama in the whole church. So who's David? I'm back again with who's David. So now David just might generally say, hey, brother, unakumbuka ile siku ulisema wewe ni mimi? And like for me, it's like I thought that was inside. That was inside. It's not targeted at hurting me. It's like targeted at just information. So I don't know if like guys don't know how to like partition. I don't know, or I think every story has a good laugh in it. I don't know, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about, dude. Like,
First of all, that was in front of the whole church.
the one reason you're not supposed to say,
That was in front of the whole church. For everyone who remembers that day, I'm sure they remember it. But also, I don't remember the last time I brought it up. Actually,
That's scam, bro.
but what I was going to say is like, it's extremely easier to trust a guy with something because half of the time the guy will forget what you told him. Weirdly enough, and it's so true. Like I can tell, I'm sure someone told me something yesterday night. I don't even remember what you were talking about. Good, but I helped for that moment, and I have zero recollection, zero. But tell me about something logically like maths, G 2 times 2 ni 4 yes, sir. But sasa hizi zingine like it changes on all like ends. But when something is serious, completely serious, many guys don't end up speaking like outside or even saying it like outside. If you find a guy saying that, then that's definitely the guy's like malfunctioning. Because honestly, like many goons, if you find a guy coming to talk to you, then you know it's real and it's serious. So half of the time you just get serious and be like, yo, it is a man, don't worry about it. We'll just keep it in between each other. And half of the time that's what happens. You literally keep it in between each other. When you get to stories like banter, like Andrew's, that one, also him feeling bad about doing that. I'm about to say something so bad. It's not who made the mistake. And he's older. But jokes aside, like I feel like I understand him because even to date people confuse us. Like some people call me Andrew, some people call him David. So like
Join the club.
We started the confusion stream.
So yeah, personally I'd say I definitely still think guys have less trust issues. Like less. Guys actually trust when they have to. Especially with, it's more like we look at levels of what we're going to trust you with. Sure, is just let everything out. That's the difference. Like I'd tell, okay, I can trust. I look at some friend of mine in class and be like, hey, I can trust in my marks. Nilipata 11. Chukua ufanye. True story, by the way. Alafu, like you look at someone else and you trust them with like a greater thing because of like guys can't tell that, yeah, I think this one I can trust him with that or that yeah, and so on and so forth. That's why I agree with you.
Okay, guys, so this has been Masculinity Part 1. There's going to be a Part 2, so stay tuned. Also, follow us on Instagram, DM us. Please like our reels. Nyambura does a lot of work on them. I don't know why I called you Nyambura.
Yeah.
Paul does a lot of work on them.
Edit easy.
Sorry. Paul Tamiron, Paul and
effort.
Tamiron do a lot of work on them.
I'm done who cries. You do cry.
You know how hard it is to decipher what's the perfect snippet.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Okay,
That's
okay. Paul and Tamiron do a lot of work on them, so please like them. Also, send us an
Where do they
email.
follow us?
Follow us at P3T podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, just follow us at P3T podcast. Send us an email at p3tpodcast.ke at gmail
P3T podcast KE
at gmail.com.
Vile tutakuwa tunaandika
Yeah, that email address is difficult. Yeah, so send us an email at p3tpodcastke at gmail.com.
Wow.
And yeah, listen to us on like Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.